We've learned a lot of really great applications for the normal distribution, and I want to leave you with a word of warning. So a normal model cannot be used for just any data set. And the reason for that is that if your distribution is not unimodal and symmetric to start with, then this process of finding z-scores or standardizing won't change the shape of the distribution to normal. So if it was skewed, it's not going to suddenly make it normal and make all of this work out fine just by applying that z-score process. So to use those z-scores, you really do need to check and make sure that your distribution is normal. So there are a number of ways to do that. The two that we're going to touch on today, the first one you've seen before, and that's to make the histogram. So if you make the histogram, you want to check that it's unimodal and symmetric. The other option is a new type of plot that we're going to look at how to make, and that's the normal probability plot. So let's take a look at that and what you're looking for in that, and then we'll see how to make it. So the normal probability plots will look something like what you're seeing on the right side of the screen. So it is a set of dots. And what you're looking for is for them to make a reasonably straight looking line. So if the plot is roughly linear, it's fair to assume that that distribution is more or less normal, at least well enough to use the things that we've learned in this chapter. If it's not roughly linear, so if it's curved or it's bumpy or something like that, then you're going to assume that it's not normally distributed. So the things that we've learned in this chapter are not applicable to that data set. You'd have to look at a different way of finding those probabilities. And that's something that's covered in a different or more advanced class. So one note on this, these guidelines should be interpreted loosely for small samples and usually very strictly for large samples. So the bigger the sample is, really you do want to see that it's making a fairly straight line pattern. If it's a smaller sample, there's a little bit of wiggle room there. And there are some techniques for dealing with smaller samples, again, in a more advanced class. All right, so come back in the next video and I'm going to show you how to make these in Excel. So you're going to want to download those data sets from campus and open those up and I'll meet you over in Excel.